There are 3 ugly truths that no one has told you about your RSUs. The worst part is that these things happen outside of your control and are set up as the default, yet you are left to pay the tax bill. If you're passive with your RSUs, just letting them vest, or if you skip this info, it'll triple your trouble. So let me show you the 3 easy steps on how to fix it, save on taxes, and optimize your RSUs, because not even your CPA will tell you the truth until it's too late. Here's the first mistake your company sets up by default, which is quite ironic because restricted stock units are meant to be a benefit by your company, but this one in particular causes a lot of surprise tax bills that can force you as the employee to empty your bank account. I would hope that your employer would tell you about this potential trap because I've seen it time and time again. When your RSUs vest, you owe ordinary income tax on the fair market value on the day of vest. Behind the scenes, your company will actually withhold the tax for you, but when you meet with your CPA, they'll tell you that you still owe more taxes. Why? Because your company only withholds at one of 2 rates. 22% is the default unless you are earning more than $1 million a year, at which point they will withhold 37%. Companies generally default to 1 to 2 withholding tax rates when there's actually 7 different possible outcomes. The problem is where your actual tax bracket is, let's say 35%, but your company only withheld at 22%. Behind the scenes, your company under-withheld by 13%. So you meet with your CPA and they tell you this after they discover the surprise tax amount. By then, it's too late. CPAs are reactive and they tell you how much you owe. Tax planners are proactive and tell you how to owe less. If you'd like to owe less in taxes and optimize your investments, you can work with me using the link down below. No tax surprises, just tax savings. So what can you do to avoid the withholding problem? Remember, this needs to be done in advance. Otherwise, you may be on the hook if you don't do this soon enough. You'll want to reach out to your company's HR department and ensure that their withholdings match your actual tax bracket for the year. Don't forget about the other types of equity that may increase your income just beyond your salary, such as non-qualified stock options, to get a more accurate withholding. But if you think a surprise 13% tax bill is bad, then you should see how much some people pay in taxes on their RSUs with this next mistake. Let me show you these numbers. Which number do you think is the highest tax rate some people pay on their RSUs? Well, it was the larger of the 3. Let's say you had $300,000 worth of RSUs that you sell immediately upon vest. You wouldn't have $300,000 hitting your bank account, you'd only have $42,000 hitting your bank account. Let that sink in. You have $258,000 going to the IRS in state tax, $37,000 in federal, $37,000 in short-term capital gains, and a 12% state tax in this example. This isn't some temporary surprise tax like forgetting to update your withholdings. This could be permanent if not caught or corrected. It's also something that your CPA might not even catch. And you probably wouldn't catch either plugging it into TurboTax by yourself. When your RSUs vest, the fair market value on the date of vest will be reported on your W-2 through your employer, plus any withholdings. You pay tax on that fair market value, raising your basis, which is all correct and good up to this point. Now, this is where the problem exists, the problem of double taxation. When the broker holding your RSU reports the sale of your RSUs and says you have no basis, it effectively causes you to be taxed on it twice when you sell. Here's how to fix it. What you'll want to do is grab the tax form 1099-B, which reports the proceeds from the sale. You'll receive this from your broker. When you grab form 1099-B, you'll want to double check the column titled Cost or Other Basis. If the number in this column is 0, then there's a good chance you're going to be double taxed. You're going to need to take the supplemental form, which is usually accompanied with the 1099-B, and ensure that you've adjusted the cost basis. There's a column titled Adjusted Basis where you need to include the fair market value on the vesting date of the shares that you sold. While taxes may seem bad, they're actually based on a percentage of the actual value. And this next truth can negatively affect your physical net worth, not just a percentage of it. If you're a passive recipient of your RSUs and just let them vest without doing anything, then this next truth could burn you. You may have taken a passive approach for several reasons. Maybe it's because you think you're getting an exclusive tax benefit for holding. Maybe it's because you're lazy, busy, or unmotivated. Or maybe it's because you're drinking too much company Kool-Aid and you think it's gonna take off. Regardless, as your RSUs vest, your net worth slowly becomes more and more concentrated and dependent upon a single stock. So you're probably thinking to yourself, oh, I need to go out and diversify, which is correct, But the way you go about diversification can actually cause some serious problems. For example, if you go out and immediately try and fix this by selling everything or even just a large chunk, you'll probably create another big problem: a huge tax bill. Are you starting to see how any financial move you make or take has correlated tax and other consequences? You'll want to take a holistic approach to selling your RSUs. What are your values and goals, risk tolerance and risk capacity? Then you'll want to run a multi-year tax projection to see if it makes sense, and if so, when to sell. That may be selling immediately, or maybe selling over several years. But if you strategize and plan, then you create opportunities for yourself, including the potential to retire early on your RSUs, which I've ran the numbers and I show you how many RSUs you need in order to create $100,000 per year in retirement income in this video right here.